What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. So this video is going to be kind of quick because I don't feel that great. But as you can probably tell by the title, I have C Diff again. I did a video, I want to say in 2018, like as soon as I started my channel, where I talked about my previous experience with having C Diff. I did have it in 2017. I was very, I guess, fortunate the first time I had it that I was able to get rid of it with just one round of antibiotics. Unfortunately, it is somewhat common for people to have relapses, reoccurrences, multiple infections kind of back to back. And I was very, very lucky that I only had one infection and I got rid of it with one round of antibiotics. And unfortunately though, after that, I've suffered a lot of stomach problems, ongoing health problems. My immune system really took a big hit and never fully, completely recovered. In 2019, I was diagnosed with mild diverticulitis, and I also have mild IBS ever since having C Diff the first time. So my stomach just never really went back to normal, unfortunately. But I've always been very careful since then about like which antibiotics I do take if I need them for like a sinus infection or ear infection, which I unfortunately get kind of often. So I've always been mindful to try to avoid having C Diff again, because once you have had it, it does kind of increase your likelihood of getting it in the future. And I have done pretty good up until recently. And I laugh because it's my luck. Like, it's like, really, this of course happens to me. But I wanted to make this video to kind of talk about it. Like I said, since I did make that first initial video kind of talking about my first experience, I just thought it only makes sense to make a video talking about this experience. And also I want to talk about how I got it this time, because it's not the way that people, I guess, usually get it. So I kind of want to talk about that. Basically, like I said, I have mild IBS. It's not anything too bad, too, you know, like debilitating, I guess. I know some people have it really, really bad, but luckily mine is fairly mild. As long as I avoid trigger foods and like things that I have, you know, sensitivities to, I do okay for the most part. Well, about 2 months ago, this story is so crazy. I was making a chicken pot pie in the microwave, like those like Marie Callender or like maybe Stouffer's. I don't remember what brand it was, but I was making it in the microwave late at night. Just wanted a little snack before bed. And I took it out the microwave, and the top of it was kind of burnt a little bit. So I took a fork to kind of like break open the chicken pot pie and like scrape off the crusty part. When I did that, a piece of gravy from inside the chicken pot pie, which was scorching hot, flew out and landed on my thumb. I got a really, really bad burn on my thumb. It was extremely painful, and my heart goes out to anyone who has ever had burns. That was the first time I've ever been burned in my life, and it was a small burn, but it was very, very bad, and it was so painful. It felt like it went all the way to the bone. Oh my goodness, it hurt so bad. Anyway, so I, you know, ran cold water on it. I waited until the next day to kind of see what it looked like. It was kind of teetering in between a 2nd and 3rd degree burn. It didn't blister up like 2nd degree burns do. Instead, the skin just kind of turned like almost black, and it was really gross. So the very next day I went to urgent care, the same one that I always go to, ironically the same one who diagnosed me with having C Diff the first time in 2017. So anyway, I showed them this burn on my hand. Now, like I said, I've been there many times. They have all of my, you know, records from being there. They know that I have a history of C Diff, but the doctor who was there gave me a antibiotic cream for my thumb. Now, I was told to use it for 10 days. I did. My thumb healed up perfectly fine, no scar, no nothing, which is excellent. But after I used it, I realized like 2 weeks later, I just so happened to be reading through the pamphlet after the fact, and I saw on there risk of C Diff. So I kind of freaked out, but I thought the odds of it, you know, happening from this ointment is probably so low. I didn't think I had anything to worry about. I just kind of thought, well, the risk is there, but it's probably not you know, as likely to happen as it is. Like most people get C. diff from clindamycin. The first time I got it from Ceftin. So like really, really strong, usually oral antibiotics. And I knew that ointments carried a risk, but I just thought it was such a small chance that it wasn't really a big deal. Plus I knew that, you know, with this urgent care, that they knew I had a history of C. diff. It was in my record that they, you know, were the ones who diagnosed me the first time. I thought, well, they wouldn't give me anything that they think would cause that. And I just kind of went on. Now, on the little pamphlet, it says that C. diff could occur up to 2 months after you stop using it. So I was getting close to the 2-month mark, and last week my stomach started acting weird, like gurgling, weird sounds. I really don't know how to describe it, but almost not like indigestion, but just it felt funny. It felt kind of like inflamed on the inside, like my stomach and kind of my like whole digestive tract. And at first I did kind of have that thought of like, what if this is C. diff? But I was like, there's no way. Now in the past, ever since 2017, I've had many times where I thought that I had C. diff, and I do the test and they say, no, it's negative. It's just IBS or, you know, something else. So I just kind of thought, I'm not gonna worry about it. It's probably nothing. So I started getting like nauseous no matter what I ate, but it wasn't that bad. It was just, you know, kind of nauseous, you know, kind of feeling like, but again, I just thought maybe it's IBS, whatever, maybe it's just a flare. So that lasted for about 3 or 4 days. Then I started to feel better, and I was like, okay, cool. So I felt better for like 2.5 days. And then I woke up last Saturday, excruciating stomach pain. And when I had C. diff the first time, the pain that I felt was very high up, even though it's a colon infection. It was very high up, and I don't know why, but I felt that exact same pain in that exact same area last week. So I was like, oh my goodness, this feels like this could be something more than just IBS. So I waited a few hours, didn't get any better, so I went to urgent care. Same urgent care. I explained to them everything. You know, I explained to the doctor, it was a different doctor, but I explained to her, you know, that I had been there about 2 months ago. I had the ointment for my thumb, and I just, you know, kind of said I'm concerned. All the symptoms, like I said, were pretty much mild, other than the really bad pain, which was extremely painful. But nothing that really jumped out as like, this is serious. So the doctor was very, very nice, and she said she was concerned about, you know, the possibility of it being C. diff, considering the fact of the antibiotic ointment use recently and the history of me having it previously. So she said, okay, we're gonna order the test and go from there. So I'm fully expecting that the test is going to be negative. I was a little bit concerned because she told me that they were only going to test it for C. diff. And I kind of thought, well, what if I have something else? Like, what if I have like E. coli or like salmonella or like something totally crazy? But I just thought, well, we'll wait and see what the C. diff test says and kind of go from there. So this was a long, drawn out thing. I was there on Saturday, did the test on Sunday. It was the wrong test. I don't know how someone messed it up at urgent care, so I had to redo the test on Monday. They told me it would take 5 days to get the results, so I was not happy about that, because in my mind I'm thinking if it is C. diff, I should probably get like treatment for it as quickly as possible. So I was just kind of like, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't actually take 5 days. But, you know, the doctor and the nurse had both told me it probably would be about 5 days. So luckily though, Tuesday, right before they closed, Tuesday night, they called me. And I was thinking, like, please don't let them tell me again that this was the wrong test or that they somehow messed it up again. But it was the doctor calling to say that she already had the results that quick. It took about 24 hours. So I was really surprised that they had said 5 days and it was only 24 hours. And I could tell by her voice and the way she was talking. And she was like, you know, I'm calling about your test results. And I was like, okay. Like thinking it's gonna be negative, you know, I can just, you know, whatever, move on. And so she goes, well, do you have a minute to talk? And I'm like, okay, like, tell me. And so she goes, unfortunately, it was positive. And I was like, oh, here we go again. Like, here we go again with this. So we had a little bit of, I guess, a mild bump in the road, because I told her when I had it the first time that they initially gave me Flagyl. I did not tolerate Flagyl that well, and the first time I had it, I was switched over to vancomycin, which I tolerated just fine, and that was ultimately what ended up getting rid of the first infection. So I explained this to her, and she said, okay. And she said, unfortunately, I don't think I can give you vancomycin because your insurance may or may not cover that. But she said, try the Flagyl first. If that doesn't work, call me back tomorrow and we'll see if we can push through for the Vanco. And I was like, okay. So picked up the Flagyl like that night. Obviously, I don't tolerate it well. That wasn't working. So the very next day, called her back and called my primary care doctor. The two of them then called each other, and my primary care doctor was able to get the Vanco pushed through with the insurance approval. So thankfully I was able to get that. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at now. Today is Friday, so I've just been kind of hanging out at home, not really doing much of anything. I am not nearly as sick as I was the first time that I had it, but I have forgotten like how big of a toll it takes on your body, just feeling ill like all over, extremely weak, extremely tired, just feeling like, you know, out of it, nauseous, stomach pain. Not fun at all. Not really being able to eat. I mean, I can eat like regular foods, but it's much easier if I just eat like soup or, you know, something that's super soft and mushy. That works out much better, just because anything that's like too solid feels like painful. Like, ugh, I don't like it. But that's pretty much where I'm at now. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot else to say, other than I just can't believe I'm doing this all over again. And yeah, and it's like, this is just my luck. I've had so many health problems and so many things going on, and like over the past like year and a half, and it's like, now here we are. Like, feels like it's like right back to square one, especially since, like I said, the first time I had it, I never like fully recovered from that. Prior to me having it the first time, there was a lot of foods that I could eat with no problem, and now I can't eat those foods anymore. Not necessarily like allergies, but just severe sensitivities, intolerances. Certain foods I can eat it one day and I'm totally fine, and then if I try to eat that same food like a week later or 2 weeks later, it will make me very nauseous, like cramping, stomach pain, discomfort. I don't know why. In case anyone is wondering, I do take probiotics every single day. I take Florister, which from my understanding is pretty good if you currently have C Diff or if you have had C Diff in the past. It's a yeast-based probiotic, so it's not killed off by antibiotics, and it kind of helps, I guess, fight off all those nasty bacterias. So I do take that every single day. I also take IBGuard. That helps a lot with, you know, like I said, the mild IBS. So I do take those. I take a few other just random vitamins as well. Those do help, but you know, it's like, even with all of this, I can't believe that I somehow was able to get C Diff again from something so simple as this little ointment from a tiny burn. I mean, it would make sense if the burn was like a large portion of my body and if I had like some serious antibiotics going on, I could understand that. But it was such a tiny little area. I literally can't even show you because it healed up, no scar, nothing. But it was such a tiny area, and just the smallest little dab of ointment 3 times a day. That was all it took, and here we are. And like I said, this is even with taking the probiotics every single day. I take vitamin C, I take elderberry, you know, I try to do everything I can to keep my immune system on the up and up, and yet and still these things keep happening to me. So It's unfortunate. It also makes me concerned with everything that's kind of going on right now with COVID. I am fully vaccinated. I did get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine though. So, you know, I'm not really sure how well that is protecting against the Delta variant right now. From my understanding, it doesn't protect that well against it. So I have some concerns, you know, being sick all over again now, that could potentially put me at risk of developing COVID, or, you know, as fall rolls around, winter rolls around, you know, my immune system is not going to be that great, and I'm concerned about flu season and like bronchitis, pneumonia, all of that. So I have to just be mindful of those things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my life right now and where I'm at. I'm trying to keep a positive attitude, even though it totally sucks and it's very, very scary. Like I said, just not knowing what's going to happen and not knowing what the long-term effects are going to be this time. And, you know, like I said, the first time I had it, got rid of it with 1 round of antibiotics. But now it's like, is that going to be the same thing again? You know, hopefully I'll be lucky like that this time. But if not, then it's going to be, you know, who knows how long I'm going to have to fight this for. So just a lot of like uncertainty and concerns right now. But the good thing, like I said, is that I'm not nearly as sick as I was the first time. The first time I had it, I went downhill very, very fast and was basically like borderline bedridden. I literally only got out of bed to go to the bathroom. Like that was it, and to shower. Other than that, I was in bed all day, every day for like 10 days straight. It was really, really bad. So the fact that I'm still able to get up, walk around the house, you know, clean up a little bit, you know, shower, get myself somewhat ready. I'm not wearing any makeup right now or anything, but I did kind of brush my hair, kind of curl it a little bit so I don't look totally sloppy today. So the fact that I'm still able to do all of those things, I feel like is a good sign. But also I don't know how much of that, like I said, is because of the fact that I've been taking the probiotics and the vitamins and all of that, because I feel like without those things, I probably would be way sicker. So who knows? But yeah, that's basically an update on where I'm at right now. So it sucks, but you know, what can you do? I guess it could always be worse. At least I'm at home and I'm not in the hospital somewhere. So here I am. Me and Maddox, we're just, you know, hanging out. And yeah, it's a really nice evening. I might go sit outside for a little bit, get some fresh air. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Depending on how I feel like in the next couple of days, maybe I'll update you guys if anything changes, if I, you know, feel any different or whatever. But other than that, it's basically it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.